that was sort of my opinion on it as well. Like, I was like, look, I don't really know for sure if it's not true. I just don't like it. I don't like going. I don't really like the doctrine. And it doesn't make me happy. Like, it just seems to take more than what it gives me. And so, like, that's why I left. I think I don't think I'd had a realization at that point where I was like, oh yeah, the church, it's just not true. I just don't, like, it's just made up. The whole thing's stupid. I think for me it was less about that and just like, even if it is true, like, I just don't think I belong here. I don't like it. It's not making me happy. I don't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's been, like, since then, like, hearing other people's experiences and, like, reading more stuff, like the CES letter and things like that, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? It's all bullshit anyway. Like,
yeah, and being, like, I am part of the LGBT community. I'm bisexual, and just your whole life hearing, oh, it's a sin, you're going to hell, like, I have just started to realize now that it made me genuinely hate myself for these feelings that I was having for other people, which are totally natural and normal, and it's still something that I'm trying to deconstruct out of myself, because it's not normal to hate yourself for who you are, for something so natural and normal.
No, I guess how long has it been since you have been to church?
Been to church in a genuine way, probably about 2018, 2019. I did get my daughter, my chub, blessed in the church, and she was born 2020.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then, like, I have a nephew, and my brother was giving a talk a couple of weeks ago, so I just went to support him, because that's something that still makes him happy. Yeah. So I'm happy to support him in that by watching my nephew at church, so... Yeah, I've never been genuinely in a couple of years.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. It's it's again, another story of why we are the way we are, and the hurt that we've experienced.
All right, so Brother Ephraim, you've been out of the church a lot longer than us, haven't you?
I have. Yeah. It's
What's
been about 7 years since I've been to church.
7 years, yeah.
So I guess it started from the beginning. So my parents, they met when they were about 15, 16. Dad, he was in the church when he was younger. I'm not sure if he was born in the church. He left after he met Mum, and they had their first 2 kids.
Oh wait, so he left the church, like, after they had kids?
Yeah, so this is sort of 16, 17 years old, so he left for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then he came back after he felt his family needed a bit more in their lives.
Okay.
And so Mum was baptised at that point, and she'd never been with the church or anything like that. Right. So that was a process for them. So I was born in the covenant.
Right. Like the
special.
rest of us.
Yes, I'm not a muggle. I'm a pure blood.
Pure blood.
Yeah.
And so growing up in the church, it was just normal. Everything that happened, absolutely normal. You don't blink an eye. You take the good with the bad.
Accept everything they tell you.
Yeah, that's it. You just accept it because that's the right way, and everyone else.
I mean,
it's
the true church. Like, they wouldn't lie.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially with our mind-bending primary songs. And, and manipulating bishops that pry too much in your adolescence about your sexual activity. Not that that's terribly inappropriate or anything.
No, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
This old man just asking you about, what you do in your private time. Yeah.
How often do you masturbate?
Best thing is when your dad's the bishop and he's asking you these questions, and you're like, I feel very uncomfortable right now. I am not telling you the truth about this.
Bishop interviews were scary.
It's a no from me. So I grew up in the church. And I went through phases where I was more involved and wasn't involved, especially at the start of youth. I guess I too am part of the LGBT sandwich. So I'm gay. I'm openly gay now. I've been with my fiance for nearly 6 years now.
That's awesome.
And so growing up, I knew it, but I didn't know it. And as I got towards the end of youth, I started to understand it, what is known as a same-sex attraction.
Yeah.
It came up a couple of times, and it was always a matter of, no, you can think it. At first it's, no, that's not it. Don't think about it. Don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then it turned to, okay, well, how about you just stop thinking about it and just don't act on it, all right? Cool story, thanks.
Yeah, because like it's not the sinner that's bad. It's just the sin. You
Exactly.
know, hate the sin, not the sinner.
And that's
mentality.
exactly it.
Yeah.
So, that was very conflicting. I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety growing up, and I never completely understood why. But once you start hiding things for your entire life, you start to have negative effects.
Yeah.
And so, towards the end of youth, I really got on this bandwagon of I can do better. I think it started with EFY.
Oh yeah.
We had EFY.
EFY was a big turning point for me, I think, at church as well, because I was starting to I was living that double life at school and stuff, and then I think after I went to my first EFY, I'm like, I need to be better. I'm not going to swear anymore. I'm going to be that shiny example to all my friends.
It's a life-changing event,
It is.
Everyone together feeling the spirit. How amazing.
You just get mass brainwashing.
That's it.
Those testimony meetings, though, I definitely didn't cry because everybody else was crying.
That's it,
Definitely
it's
was not faked.
No, exactly. So that was a bit of a turning point, and then from there I sort of got on the bandwagon. I didn't have a lot of close friends, but it got to the point where I'm like, I want to have friends, and so I started gathering people in sort of youth programs, and I'm like, you know what, let's do this. We can all go on missions, and we can be good examples, and yada yada yada. So anyway,
building that community.
That's it. Yeah. So it got into YSA, and I'm like, all right, probably should go on a mission. Now that's the next logical step.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a man, that's the only next step. Like, if you're not going on a mission, you're poo, you're garbage.
Well, you're useless. You gotta go on a mission.
Yeah,
so,
it's your duty.
You started getting ready for a mission. That's a process in itself.
Yeah,
you're expected to know a lot about stuff that you've never really had the specifics on.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, well, because you've never had, because when you go out on a mission, you're going to have people question you about the church, and so you need to have, answers for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The majority of people don't look into teachings, hardcore. I remember seminary.
Yeah.
You're expecting a bunch of teenagers to get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and pay attention. It just didn't happen. I turned up to seminary in a dazed state and managed to scrape through.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, I did seminary online. They'd only, just started doing it online. Yeah, well, because
Lucky.
our ward, it was really spread out, and for me to get to seminary in the morning would be, almost an hour drive. So, and we just weren't going to do that. So
that's fair.
We were able to do an online seminary thing.
We could have done our last year of seminary together. You know that, Sister Donna.
Yeah, but I didn't want to.
I'm so cut. I'm so hurt. You left me alone.
Because you know what? I would still do it early in the morning, though. I would do it, before getting ready to go to school, just because that was, a convenient time. Because I was I'll do this before school, all the other seminary people. And then, I'll after school is time for school study and assignments and whatever. But, yeah, so I was doing it online, and I didn't really, I think I just kind of scraped by. I think I was really shit with the scripture masteries and stuff.
I got the easy one. Jesus wept.
That was one of them.
We're bringing back a lot of memories now. A lot of memories.
Yeah.
This is stuff I haven't thought about in years.
Yeah. This is gonna be a fun trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So anyway, moving on from seminary, right? So completely underprepared.
Yeah.
Here I am trying to get ready for a mission, trying to convince other guys to get ready for a mission as well. A little group.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, there's different people in church we have this massive crush on, because you always get the token hot ones.
Yeah.
But that makes it very difficult when they're also men, and you're getting ready for a mission. So anyway. So fast forward a little bit. So I get my call. It was over in in England. I won't specify just yet which one it was.
Okay.
But it was in the Promised Land. Well,
aren't they all the Promised Lands?
They're all the Promised Lands. It's the original missionaries.
Oh yeah.
So I flew over to the MTC, and that was actually fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the MTC.
Wait, which MTC was that? Was that the one in
Manchester?
Oh, okay, right.
So here I was running through Brisbane Airport, and I nearly missed my flight. That was awkward. 24 hours
that would
later.
be panic-inducing.
But and the hard part is you've just been called and set apart as a missionary, and you're on the plane for 24 hours, and all you have is your Book of Mormon and journal.
Yeah.
It's freaking boring.
Boring as shit.
Bro, I watched Snow White.
Did you try and convert
I was like,
anyone
this
on the
is Disney,
plane?
this is fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From the jump, you were like, yeah, I'm just, you know,
I was a dodgy
guidelines,
missionary,
they're not
100%.
rules.
Yeah, 5 minutes in, I'm like, yep, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with the whole converting, right? So I went on a couple of mini missions before.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I went on 2 of them. And preaching is one of my least favourite things to do in the world. I hate it with a passion.
Yeah.
It is so awkward. It is so uncomfortable. And here I am committing to a 2-year mission.
Yeah.
So I get over there, MTC, yada, yada, yada. Then I get down to my first area, and my first companion is a very... What's the word I'm looking for? Very holy man.
Very holy man?
Yes.
Oh.
He was very obedient. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And, you know, as soon as it's time, you got to be out there hitting the pavement.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly I hated proselyting.
Was he a Utah too?
No, he was from somewhere central America, central US.
Okay.
So he was real country as well. And it was sort of like, you know, this is my backstory, my granddaddy type thing.
Grandpapa.
Absolutely awesome guy. I still hear from him every now and then. But he was such an obedient missionary.
Yeah.
He really struggled with me.
Right.
Because I don't really want to do that.
Oh, really?
You got to get out there and teach people. But what about the less actives? We've already broken the ice with them.
Yeah. You know, we can save them, bring them back.
That's it. What about members? What if we go to members' places for dinner?
But then you can't get your baptism like numbers up that way though, because those people are already baptized.
Got to get the stats.
Yeah.
So my mission, just like your sister May, was very traumatic. It still haunts me today. And I got back from a mission like 7 and a bit years ago, nearly 7.5 years ago. So I left after 14 months. So the depression and the anxiety got so bad. It got to the point where our mission president had to put me into the digital zone because I didn't want to get out and about.
Yeah, my ex actually, he went home early from his mission as well. I think he only stayed out a year, and same reason, just depression and anxiety. Like he just wasn't not having a good time.
Well, here's the problem: is that it is so looked down on to come home from a mission.
Oh yeah,
and it was a horrible experience. So I remember I got home. Funnily enough, I flew in the day of my sister's wedding, so I barely got time to get dressed.
Yeah.
And so I went to that, and then going back to church, people just kind of, you came home early, you're a bit of a failure type look as they judge you as you go past. You have the token ones that still ask you how it went, that type of thing. And the bishopric, they kind of did the same thing. They just sort of like, yep, okay, whatever, you did it. Cool.
Yeah.
They forgot my coming home talk.
Really?
They just completely forgot it.
Dude.
And then...
Lucky.
You're lucky.
Well, here's the thing. It makes it even more awkward is, like, a month later, they're like, oh, yeah, we've got your homecoming talk. Can you do it this Sunday? This was on the Friday.
God, no.
And, you're trying to get people to turn up for it because you're like, all right, I'm going to be inspirational. By this point... I'd already... on my mission, there were multiple times where I'm like, I don't think I want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
But, you're trying to do it for the right reasons, and you come back, and so I got called onto the bishopric as executive secretary. I think
that's a classic role for my for missionaries, because
either that or mission prep.
Yeah. Well, my ex was exec sec as well for a little bit.
Must be something to do with the
actually, I don't know if he was exec sec or if it was just clerk. What is the difference?
Exec sec does all the, organises the meetings and minutes and stuff like that, whereas
the clerks do the tithing stuff.
Yeah, tithing and records. So you got to have more experience and that type of thing to do stuff with the clerk, because they want to